like, okay, cocaine makes me happy, so I'm gonna go do cocaine. It's like, no, that's not really the way that we're talking.
Listen, there are physical benefits.
Just me.
Absolutely, just you.
I will. Yes, Eric. I will start the timer.
Yeah, usually I hit the button, but it wasn't even up.
It wasn't even up. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
That's okay.
I've been setting like 5-minute alarms in the morning. I don't know why. Because I had like 15 different alarms because at the time that my alarms weren't working, whatever. So now I have like 85 alarms, and they're all just like 4 minutes apart from each other. So I'm just there in the morning, just like bah, bah, bah. And then I set like 5-minute alarms. It's a complicated system.
So is this the same alarms that you cleaned them up at one
No,
point?
I cleaned them up. They stopped working, so I got a separate app.
Yeah.
And now the way that I set it up is like I set up this one to ring, and then a minute later the other one rings just in case if there's like an issue.
Yeah.
I guess both of them ring. I don't know.
Hey, what's the deal with walkie-talkies?
Okay, Jerry Seinfeld. What do you mean? What do you mean? What's the deal with walkie-talkies?
Well,
They're like little radios.
yeah, like, where did they go?
Where did they
Or
go?
like, who uses walkie-talkies? Like,
We
that
use
was a
them.
big thing when I was a kid. Like, I always wanted walkie-talkies when I was a kid.
We use them at work when we need to.
Oh, listen, aren't you special?
Well, no, I mean, I think they're kind of a novelty still. I think they kind of fell out of like grace with the advent of cell phones.
Yeah, that's fair. But
Yeah.
then the whole like Nextel like two-way direct connect stuff. Like, why isn't that still a thing?
Where you at?
I honestly, there were the ups and downs of the Nextel.
I love to make my friends feel like crap while they were in like line at the grocery store. Oh, that was great. Even if I was in the store with them, I'd like hide in like the next aisle and just like.
There's no mute button on those things.
Oh, yeah.
And you have no control of who gets on and actually says something other than giving them your number.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you can keep your ringer off so that it just like all you hear is deet deet, and then it doesn't actually like broadcast what they say.
Yeah, that's right. I did. Yeah, I do remember that.
But nobody ever did that.
No, because I
You
always
wanted
forgot.
you wanted everybody to hear your ringtones because ringtones were a big thing back then.
Oh, absolutely. That was. I would pay for those.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you pay like $2 for a nice ringtone, guy. It's your favorite song. And most people had that one. What song was it? It was like a Soulja Boy song.
Oh no.
It was like you. That's all you would hear. I remember that in middle school. It was all I would hear every time walking down the hallways.
Your friends were completely different than mine.
I went to a completely different school than you, to be fair.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
The earliest cell phone memory that I have was like the old like where you at like Hello Moto like Motorola ringtone like text sounds or whatever.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the way you at. Like that was
Where you at?
Yeah, that was a
That
whole
was
thing.
Wasn't that Boost?
Yeah, it was Boost.
Was it Boost?
As soon as, that was like that was their starting marketing campaign.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was. I mean, they did it, and look at them now. They're still a thing.
I feel like we had this talk on air, like talking about like early cell phones and everything already before.
No, we had this conversation at your house.
Oh.
When we were talking.
Yeah,
about
they all bleed into one another.
What's the difference?
Like I remember my first cell phone was a Nextel i730. Yeah, it's that real.
Yeah.
Okay. before the marketing had taken over and people started naming their phones, they just labeled them with numbers.
Yeah, like it was a car. It was like a BMW car right there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, right. No, i730 was nice, dude. That was, like it had a nice camera. Like I mean, it had a camera.
No, it had a nice
It had a camera.
Was half a megapixel.
Oh yeah. Actually, I got some pictures. I could tell you like right now, like I took that on like an i580. Like
You could just see because it just looks like really bad video game graphics.
Oh yeah.
But it's a picture of you.
It's a
Anybody?
picture of you just.
You guys ever have Blackberries?
Yes.
I had a Blackberry
No,
too.
I never
Couple
got them. No, I wanted a Sidekick.
Oh,
I
had like
I'd
3 or 4 of
still,
those. I love
I'd
them.
still buy a Sidekick right now.
If a Sidekick, if you're listening, whoever wants to buy them out or whatever the situation is, I don't know. If you make one, I will buy one.
I think it would make my life probably exponentially better if I
Sidekick
got a
was
flip
Motorola,
phone.
right?
It was that slide phone.
Yeah, but
Doing
like
that,
who
like-
made it? Motorola?
Probably they made everything.
I thought they were a private corporation.
They might be too.
I don't know.
Sidekick? No, it wasn't just like Sidekick brand phone.
No, they weren't. They weren't just like a private company.
Nah.
They kind of fell out
Nah,
of
somebody
fell
made
off
them.
the face pretty quickly. Like once I
They
remember
were around
like
for a little bit. They
were.
made a handful of phones, but then they did one that like instead of flipping, it slid.
no. See, you can't.
And you can't. Yeah, that was like your whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and a lot of people just
Oh.
I signed off after that.
Yeah. I think that was the same time that I got an iPod, like the first iPod that I got,
Mm-hmm.
and I think those were kind of close together in time frame, and I think that kind of like removed my attention span from
Yeah.
the Sidekick, you know.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
Apple
all
might have
right. So I
destroyed
guess I guess what happened in Sidekick, it was developed by a company called Danger Inc.
Nice.
Yeah, right.
Danger
It was originally called the Danger Hip Top, and then it was rebranded as the T-Mobile Sidekick.
Oh,
Goodness.
T-Mobile. Wow,
Yeah.
T-Mobile grabbed that
T-Mobile
one?
did that. I know that T-Mobile like advertised it a lot, but I thought it was just like, you know.
Mhm.
And I guess they got bought out by Microsoft by $500 million.
Of course, Microsoft
And
buys
then that
all
was
like
it, and then they just sunk it because they were tired of it.
That's what Microsoft does with every company they buy. When they bought Skype, they made it horrible.
Yeah.
They bought like all these different companies.
Competition, get them out of the way.
Yeah, it was Motorola who
That's like-
manufactured the phones though.
That's like you being Mercedes. Not even. That's like you being like Volkswagen, okay? Buying up all the Mazdas and then setting them on fire.
And say I'm the only one in town now.
Yeah, it's like it's not because your product is better. It's because your product's the only one left.
Yeah, you burned everything else. And that's exactly what I saw there. Well, at least what I just heard.
Yeah.
So
What was your first? I'm trying to remember the first iPod I had. It was
I
either
had the original. I'm going way back. Like, I had the original video iPod.
the video iPod.
the bigger one?
iPod video. Yeah, it was a little. It was just
The
a
thin one?
little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't.
thin
It
one-
wasn't
the thin-
touch yet. I had the first touch iPod
No, not
too.
the touch.
Did
I got the first touch iPod. Yeah.
I had I think it was the Nano. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, you had a Nano too.
Which one was
Okay.
the Shuffle? Was the
That
Shuffle
was
the
just
tiny
small-
one?
no,
the
no
tiny
screen.
one.
Oh yeah, and then Apple went and they tried to make the even smaller one, where like the little rectangle one, but that
Mhm.
kind of failed too. Do you remember that one?
I
think it was-
that was way past my time.
It was touchscreen, right?
No, it was
No?
it was just like this block of aluminum. There was like half an inch by an inch in
wow.
size.
No, I
and it
didn't,
was
didn't
just-
see that one.
That was still a continuation of the trend of I want everything smaller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That was right before everything swapped over to make it as big as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I don't remember what it was called.
Because then you get this. Because then they put a screen on it, and then it was like, I want the screen to be bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it was. I
Yeah.
remember getting the first iPod Touch and like there's a fishing game that you could download and it was like the first one. It was all like shaky and, and,
Oh, yeah.
and just like laggy and latency. Like the latency was outrageous.
Yeah.
But like that was like the number. Like you knew this thing was gonna blow up just from the fishing game. Like
There was like the dollar store games where you take like the little ball bearing and put it into the hole.
Yeah.
Like by moving the thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was an app on the iPod,
Yep.
and that was like one of the biggest apps at the time. And it's
Yeah.
kind of funny to think like, okay, so like there's just like this ball that you're moving back and forth, but
Yeah,
it was an
this-
interesting game.
We've come so far.
seeing that we're like 3/4 the way through this block. What's up? Welcome to the Life Podcast, everybody.
Hello.
My name's Tyler, and I'm here with Benji
Yo.
and Enrique.
What's up? ¿Qué pasó? Oh, that's pretty really bad.
That's that's not racist.
that's
No.
thanks.
Sorry, I hit the SAP button. And we're here with Eric.
That
¿Cómo
always-
está? I'm just
Uh,
kidding. What's up?
Derek.
Derek.
Derek on the mic. That SAP button always messed me up, man. Cause like, it would either switch to Spanish so you'd know what happened, or it would just mute it, and then you try to unmute it, and it wouldn't mute it, and it wouldn't like unmute it, and you gotta like, such a first world problem, but whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Was
you
it-
know.
Was it you who I was saying about the PlayStation thing that no, probably not. It was probably one of the other people. I was all like, you remember the PlayStation Portable? Like back in the day?
Dude, PSP was way ahead of its time. Like,
Yeah, it was.
It was just like too early to be able to like
I agree.
thrive.
The
I
Go.
agree.
The Go was too early because it was all like
I don't even know what that is.
the smaller one. They made like a PlayStation Portable Go. It was about half the size, and it was like you slide it up and the touchpad
Oh,
was on
yeah,
the
yeah.
bottom.
as
I saw
opposed
that.
to stop. Like
What? Oh yeah.
Uh,
No.
I don't
But
know.
nonetheless, the PSP Go, you had to download the app, like the games,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, "Why would I download the games when I could just buy them physically, and then that whole product died. And it was
PlayStation just got ahead of themselves.
And like the year later, it's like people buy games at stores.
yeah, exactly. PlayStation.
They have stores for
unfortunately,
that?
Got wrecked. Yeah.
I mean, GameStop, hang on, guys. Let's hold on tight.
There's nothing to hold on to. Just close.
Wow.
It's just like
Merch.
no, it's not. It's true. It's like if you have a physical store that sells physical products and you're not Walmart, you're probably not gonna have a good time.
No, probably not. The bills are going to get expensive. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure that GameStop probably makes most of, maybe not most, but a large percentage of their income probably comes from online sales.
I don't know. I agree with you. I don't understand why they would though, because like it's like
Pity.
every other company has an online store now. Like you go and you want to buy a game, you just go to that developer's or that publisher's website.
Well,
Yeah, right.
Well, GameStop, the one thing that I think GameStop still has is like versus, and I'm saying specifically towards like for example, PlayStation Network, they don't really have many deals or sales. Like it's just full price stuff. So if you can go and get a used game for
That's a good
like
point.
cheaper amount, and if like you have $40, you don't want to spend whatever it is for a new game, $60, whatever.
That's still absurd. I would never. I don't.
Well,
want
see,
I-
and I think the profit margin too. It's like, oh, I'm trading in my brand new PS4.
It's a pawn shop.
We'll give you,
Minus
we'll give you $350. $350? No, $350.
$3.50.
Yeah.
I gotta
But
show
then
you
they mark
guys a
it back
video
up to
after
like
this.
$300.
you got a video.
No, I can't show it on a podcast.
Oh,
but
yeah, fair
yeah, I'll show you guys after. It's the same concept. I had me laughing.
Well, it's true. It's like their profits must be so low that they have to like scrape as much as possible. And it's video game consoles are one of those things where it's all like if you get the new one, you really don't care about the old one, or most people don't care about the old one. So they'll like drop it for cheap money.
Yeah.
And then
It's true. That's so American too, and I could see just like growing up, like once you had like the new system, like it was almost like you didn't even want to associate with people. Like I just got a PS2. We're on PS4.
Yeah.
It's like,
I almost bought a PS2 the other day, like to play the old games,
I would've.
like just for nostalgia. But then I was all like, I mentally processed it, and I was all like, one, why does my TV still have a component input in the first place? And two, I was all like, imagine these graphics on like a 4K TV, like it's gonna be absolutely
a small square.
Yeah.
on
So
a giant screen.
it's so crazy how much we were like, oh wow, these are great graphics. And then you go back like even like a couple years later, it's like, man, this I can't even see. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Blob 1 and Blob 2 are they're duking it out.
We pulled up a game that we used to play, like the ATV off.
Oh, yeah.
And
That
I
thing was
pulled up
trash.
I pulled up a screenshot and I was like, what is this?
I remember this being better.
No, I'd say it's so bad, and it's weird how like relative everything like that is.
I'm looking forward to the day that like my kids are like, you watched 4K, and it's all like, bro, like that was like seeing into the future.
Right? You only had like 4Ks?
Got 16 now, boys. Well, they're already making cameras and stuff, and Samsung's the one who pushes most of the new displays. They have one for sale. It's like an 8K display. It's like $4,000 or something like
Yeah.
that, which
Ridiculous.
is a lot of money.
That's chump change.
That's a lot of money, but comparatively for what it is, that's not as expensive as the 4K TVs were when they launched. They were like $16,000-$17,000 for a 4K display.
Okay, I know this is a redundant question, and really rhetorical, because but who, even if you have the money, why are you spending?
Why do you buy a
Flex.
Ferrari?
flexing.
But like, you know that, like, I guess with the Ferrari, I mean, the value holds better in a Ferrari than it does on a
Well,
TV.
yeah.
I would love to have a Ferrari way more than a TV. Come on.
Well,
Oh,
but also you
absolutely.
can't buy a Ferrari for $8,000.
But
Or
like,
at least not a
but
good
if you
one.
talk percentage wise,
Yeah.
like if you were to wait like 2 years, that TV, that same TV you bought, will be like $600.
So like, it's the same thing with everything. It's like you got to have somebody who fuels the market. There always has to be somebody who's willing to pay the premium to have it first,
Yeah,
so
those are
that
the
the
first people
stuff
that
can.
always- yeah.
Because Samsung needs money to continue to make the products, and if nobody buys it, like the alternative is nobody buys 8K TVs, and then we stop at 4K.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to shell out the money and be like, I want to have an 8K TV, and then they get rid of their 4K TV.
There are those, and they actually separate that. There's like a 3-segment market, where you have like your first comers, different names. I don't know what they officially call them, but the concept is like you have your first comers, which are very small, like 5% of the population, who just need the newest stuff. And that's just who they are.
Oh yeah,
they spend their money. They'll spend whatever it takes to have the very newest thing that just hit the market.
Thank you for being. I mean, I don't care who gets offended. Thank you for kind of being stupid, so that we can all have the technology eventually.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's true.
Exactly.
I think there's always. Well, you think of like clothes. Clothes is based off of that concept. Every season, like the high-end clothes, it's like every season there's a new design and they just throw away all the old stuff. And the fact that like people buy like $2,000 pairs of shoes and then throw them away in 3 months because they're out of season. I mean, somebody's got to fuel the market, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's not me.
Yeah, fashion is interesting. Like fashion, you could see it because everything kind of recycles over time. Like it goes through trends and it always comes back. But in fashion, you can really see it because it's like they wear it. But it's like you just see it. Like they just get the same stuff they were wearing 4 years ago, and now all of a sudden it's cool again.
You hear that, Jennifer? Your bell bottoms are coming back.
They're coming back. Don't throw them out of the closet.
Yeah. And we'll be back after this little ad break.
Stay tuned.
We would like to thank Anchor for sponsoring and hosting the Life podcast. So who are Anchor and what do they do? Anchor is the all-in-one platform that gives you everything you need to make and publish your podcast. And best of all, it's all free. Anchor allows you to use their creative tools to record and edit your podcast. No need for any fancy professional equipment. Sounds amazing, right? And we haven't even gotten to the best part. Anchor isn't just a recording and editing platform. They're a publisher too. This means that Anchor takes care of all of the hard stuff, like publishing to Apple and Google Podcasts, so you don't have to. So what are you waiting for? Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Another thanks to Anchor for hosting, publishing, and sponsoring the Life podcast.
This is the show that never ends.
So theoretically, okay, I'm not a clothes person, as you may or may not be able to tell.
Yes, you are wearing some.
I went to Hermes, which is like they make leather goods, whatever. They're a high-end fashion store. I'm not a clothes person. I again saw this pair of boots, not men's boots, women's boots. I thought they were very nice, and I was all like, "Oh, this is a very nice pair of boots." No, I didn't almost buy them. I took a picture of them though, and I was all like, "How much are these boots?" And the guy says to me with a straight face, $4,700, and I said, "Very nice." and
I walked out and I closed the door on my Chevy Spark and drove away.
Exactly.
You want to watch me get into my car in 2 minutes? Check out this door lock. It stops people from coming into the wrong car by accident.
That was another thing that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do have to. Was that it?
No,
Like,
I mean
what happened
that's.
after that?
I mean, $4,700 for a pair of boots. I hope one day that I am at the point where I can purchase $4,700 pairs of boots. But at that point, I think I would feel guilty using them.
Yo, absolutely. Okay. All right. So I rented out my space over the last weekend.
So you rented my space.
Rented out.
The
You
whole
brought my
website.
space back?
Yeah.
Tom, did you hear that? Tom, we're coming back, buddy. We're coming for you. You've been there day one.
I wonder if he's still our friend.
He's been on a beach for like the last 20 years.
Listen, MySpace cooked by MySpace a long time ago. I went back for some nostalgia's sake. It was like, nah, it's gone.
Justin
no, it's
Bieber and Justin Timberlake bought it like a while back, right? Or like, wasn't that what happened? I feel like I remember seeing that.
What did you do, Eric?
Yeah, Eric,
What?
You're talking about renting out your space.
renting out your space.
Oh, I completely forgot. Anyways, the dude came in. They were doing like a music video and stuff, and it was cool to watch. But he came in with shoes, but he said I forgot my shoes, and I was confused for a second, and he left, and he came back with these shoes in a box that he spent like an exuberant amount of money on that he does not wear outside.
Absolutely.
And I was just like blown away at the fact that like people do spend money on things that are supposed to be doing something, but because they spend so much money, like the boots, if I would have bought the $4,700 boots, I wouldn't wear them outside. I'd walk around with them in the morning, maybe in the house,
Yeah, absolutely.
and then I take them off and I put them back in the box. It just blows my mind.
They're crazy.
You guys ever see that YouTube video? Shoes.
What?
Shoes.
Shoes. Let's buy some shoes.
I have not
Yeah.
seen it.
All right.
There it is.
Good. I'm glad.
Were they-
I'm glad.
I can't leave you on that island alone
Thank
because that
you.
would have been a lonely one.
Wonderful. Were they like Princetown loafers? Because those are the only shoes that I would buy.
No, they're probably like J's or something.
No, yeah, they were the Kanye Yeezys, I think
Oh.
they're called.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Gucci has these slippers that have like fur in them, and they're like $1,000. And I was like, yes.
You could
The,
get
the level of opulence.
I want.
you can get those at Payless. Actually,
I bought some for my mother.
$17.99, boys.
did I share the story about the Payless thing that they did? I don't know if I did it
No.
on air.
Talk about it.
I know what you're talking about, but no, I don't think we talked about it.
All right, so this was really interesting. I was kind of blown away. I ended up seeing just a video on it, but Payless was like, "Oh, we're gonna do a social experiment, and we're gonna prove that people really just buy things for brand names." And they converted one of their Payless stores in this weird town. I don't even know where it was. Probably a high-end town, I'm assuming, because they were just blowing money. But so whatever, they took one of their storefronts and they overnight converted the whole thing. And they changed out all the stuff and they put in their own things. They just put stickers over their brand, the Payless brand, and everything got changed over to Paylessy. They even changed the sign in the front. It looked like a Gucci store, right?
Yeah.
And they opened up the doors and they just had all the workers like really dressed up nice. They did the whole nine. People came in and they were looking at their shoes and they were spending like $700, $800, and they caught them like on camera too. Like they were just like asking them interview, like, "What do you think about these shoes?" They were like, "Paylessy's like a really amazing Italian store. They're really high quality stuff. I'll pay anything for this."
Ugh.
And like they really like got, dude. They were just charging the credit card. They were buying all these shoes, and then they like caught them like down. Like they would follow them out, and then like they tell them like, "You just bought Payless shoes that was worth about $15
And
for $700."
And they just started with like, "Oh my god, shoes."
They were like, "Oh my god!" Like they were just like completely blown. I was like, "Wow!" But it really showed. Like Payless was just like, and then at the end of the ad, they were like, I forgot what the slogan was, but they had a great slogan after that. But
There you go.
but it's just like crazy how like people. They think they see a brand and they didn't even hear about the Paylessy. They're like,
Yeah.
it sounds Italian, and they were just like, "Take my money."
I think that's most consumers.
And that's really
Probably me too.
probably.
Well, I mean, like, we talk about brand names and stuff like that. You think of Apple. It's like that's what we basically do with Apple.
Yeah,
Apple's-
but in fairness, like Apple like cornered the market and they made their own pool to swim in. So like, it's not like you can just like get knockoff and like swim like you know what I'm saying.
No, absolutely.
You have to swim in that
I saw
pool
the
or else
most
you're not.
Android thing yesterday when I was with Benji. There was like a YouTube ad that came up, and it was like, "Download our app to protect you from other apps that aren't working properly." And I was just like, "That's such an Android problem."
Yeah, right.
It's unfortunate, but like it is what it is.
I feel like
Yeah,
they're just
you know what
attempting-
I don't get
Hmm.
is like the knockoff market that's like 80% of the real market value. Like okay, like let's use an example like
Like Roy Bones.
Gucci. Yeah, Roy Bones. But like let's say like Gucci, like let's say something Gucci sells shoes for $1,000, and then you go and buy knockoff Gucci shoes for like $800 or $600. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't spend the first one. I like even if it was the real thing, I wouldn't spend it. But
Like maybe like $80.
But yeah, exactly.
I don't spend $80 on shoes unless they're like work boots, but
Yeah.
still like
Exactly. Like if you're gonna buy like a knock, I think this happens mostly with handbags, where it's all like, okay, there's like a $200 handbag, and then people pay like $85 for a knockoff version of the same thing.
yeah, I don't see that's like a human psychology thing. They just at that point you're literally just playing to be a part of a game.
yeah.
And that's all you're doing, whether it's conscious or subconscious. And you're not willing to pay the full $200, but $85, I can afford that today, and I can play the game, and hopefully no one notices the difference.
And you know what? It's not even about the flex. I mean, I guess if we want to talk about anything about substance, like on this episode today, it's really about. Well, no, I've enjoyed it so far, but still, like if we're not so concerned about what people think, and if we just get what we like. And worry about form and function rather than like, oh, like it doesn't have this name on it or it doesn't have this level of opulence. Do you know how much happier we'd be? I mean, think about somebody like Dave Ramsey said it. Actually, I saw Jafet yesterday. He was talking about Dave Ramsey. He's like, I'm like I All right, so Jafet's story. He had a Volkswagen Golf that he loved. It was nice. It was pretty new, like when he had it.
Mm-hmm.
He lives in Pawtucket. His girlfriend lives in Providence. He was parked on the street. Somebody just came and just like plowed into his car like while it was parked.
Rip.
He was inside, so nothing happened. But totaled out the Golf. Got a nice big check for it. And he was like, "What am I gonna do?" And Jafet, he went to Germany for a while, so he really likes German cars.
I noticed, yeah.
He went and he got himself a BMW, a small 3 Series, just for the experience. But I guess he's been listening to Dave Ramsey a lot, and he was like, you know what, I don't want to have a car payment anymore. He's like, you know what, I had this car for a year, I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna flip it, sell it. He's gonna go look at I think it was like a TDI
another
TDI Jetta wagon,
Mhm.
which is basically a Golf but 6 inches longer.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, but he was like, you know what? I really don't care what people think. It wasn't a status symbol just because he came up to the
That's funny.
BMW level. He's like, no, I need to go back down to something that's
I
reasonable.
hope Jafet's listening. Dude, I was just telling you this, like, right before you told Tyler. I was like, yeah, I had a Jetta. I didn't know why he got so excited when I said I had a TDI Jetta.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, oh, really? And he got, like, really into it. And I didn't understand why, but apparently he was looking into him. So there you go.
I turned over. I saw one of my friends, Kenny, this past weekend, and he had a Dieselgate, so you know, like those scandal years.
Oh, yep.
Jetta wagon, or they
Yeah.
call him a Jetta Clubman,
That's what I had.
which is basically a Golf,
Yeah.
just a Golf. Leather, navigation, sunroofs, everything, because it was part of the Dieselgate scandal with like 50,000 miles on it. Picked it up for like $8,000.
Nice.
Thing was brand new,
Yeah.
no problems.
Yeah.
But anyways, so he ended up getting that, and it was like,
Volkswagen bought mine back.
you know, it was
Yeah?
Wow.
Wow.
He was like, oh,
Dieselgate. Whoop, whoop.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, if we can put caps on really what we need versus what we want, that dictates everything. Like he had all the luxuries that he had with the BMW, almost the same driving experience and everything, for much less.
Yeah.
We talk about daily usage and daily things like shoes. What's the difference between a pair of $40 Vans and a $100 pair of Jordans, $120 pair of Jordans? Nothing. You can walk to the store in both of them, like,
Yep.
or you can walk to the unemployment office in both of them. Like, it doesn't matter.
Wow. Well, it's true. It's like we talk about adult decisions a lot, like quote unquote adult decisions. One of which is like the car that I was looking into a new car, and it was like, okay, we can make like some really poor adult decisions right now. And I sent you like that Boxster, the 2011 Boxster,
Oh, yeah.
15,000.
911 with 150,000 miles on it.
That one too. That one, there was another one, but the Boxster had like 40,000 miles on it. Whatever. Nonetheless, it's all like it's like, can you swing that? Yes. It's like, would it be good? No. It's not a good idea. And sometimes that's where a lot of people have issues with decisions, where it becomes like, oh, I can rent this couch for $12 a month for the next 5 years, and it's all like. It's like, no, like that's not a healthy decision. You know, I can swing that right now, but is that the best decision that I can make in this moment?
And sometimes when we invest on something so much out of how do I say this the right way? I'm like phrasing it Portuguese, like like you go and buy something expensive, you don't want to do anything. You were talking about those shoes. It's like, oh, I'll just like stay in my house and just like walk around in a circle and then take them off and sit down because I can't go out and do anything. Like, what's the point of having that if you can't go and do anything? If you go and buy that pair of shoes for $40, you can go and schlep them through the woods and not feel bad about it. I think about like everyday carry. I budget cap myself when it comes to sunglasses and knives. Knives, number one. It's like, I don't spend more, and this budget went up. I don't spend more than $40, and I make sure that it's at least medium to high carbon steel. Number one. So I buy the best bang for my buck at $40 or less. And when you spend $40 on an everyday carry knife, you're not afraid to do whatever it takes to that knife. Yeah. There are people who go buy $300, $400, $500 knives and never use them, and they baby them because it's like, I spent so much money on this, I can't let it get dull, I can't let it do these things. It's like, you mean dig a hole, guy? Like, I'll dig a hole. Like, you mean slash that piece of metal, cut that can in half? Yeah, I got no problem. I'll sharpen this thing when I get home. If I break it, I break it. $40 down the drain, no big deal. I already got my money back.
Yeah, I think it comes down to maintenance cost at that point. If you can't, like, you could buy a house, but if you can't afford to fix it, you don't get the house, and it's the same idea. If you buy something, you can't buy it twice. You're going to be afraid for it to break, or you're going to be afraid to misuse it because you can't buy it again. And it's just like, that's a small concept. Like, so $4,700 on boots, I wouldn't like dare to buy that twice, let alone once.
I'm gonna go,
you know what I mean?
I'm gonna go hiking, guy.
Yeah, right. So because of that concept, if you have the money to buy it twice, that's not an issue for you. You're just gonna like whatever. It's just as equivalent as a $40 pair of shoes. So that to me is like, you have to look at the maintenance cost of it, because everything comes with a maintenance cost. Everything, whether it's time, money, it's just easier when it's money. But yeah. That being said, like if you can afford the maintenance of it, go for it. Like if like feasibly afford them. Don't like scrape by on the maintenance of it. Like, oh, if anything does go wrong, I could afford it and not eat for 3 weeks. Well, then probably shouldn't do that.
That mentality is very dangerous. The example that I always used with my parents was all like, I know people who buy Rolexes and then keep them in a safe and never wear them. And I said, whenever I get to the point that I'm buying a Rolex, I want to be at the point where it's not just swinging it. It's all like, I want to be able to wear the Rolex at the beach and not care about it. Like if you can't wear your watch at the beach, if you can't use the things that you're buying, then there's no point in buying them.
Who was your boy who would buy two of everything? Like the guy who bought the two Ferraris. One to drive, one to sit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he made a lot of money off of that. That was a great idea.
Well, yeah, but that's the investment too. If you're buying something to invest in, but you want to enjoy it, like if it's that much return on your investment, like you buy one to sit.
Yeah.
But also get one so that you can actually drive it and enjoy it, or wear it and enjoy it.
My boy Abdul bought two F40s, kept one in the plastic in his garage, sold it, and he said he sold it for enough to pay for both of them.
That's awesome.
So he got the other one for free.
That's amazing. Good,
dude. And he got to drive the other one.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
He painted it too.
And another thing that I just wanted to say, like, that it just kind of came to me, like when you do buy these things and you're afraid to hurt the whatever material thing it is, you cut yourself, like it's weird, but you end up cutting yourself off from other opportunities, because all of a sudden, like all your like you're out for the day, but you ended up wearing your really nice stuff, and then like all of a sudden you guys are going to have an experience somewhere, but you have to walk through sand to get there. You're like, I don't want to go.
And my shoes dirty.
I don't want to get my shoes dirty. Like, and it's just like, You're giving up on, like, I know it's small things, but these are the opportunities. These are the moments of life that we live for. It's the laughter and all these good things. And like, if you're cutting yourself short because you're afraid to get your shoes dirty, I don't know. Maybe you need to.
That's a choice that a lot of people have to make. But we'll discuss it when we get back.
Stay tuned.
Especially when you go to like a new place, a lot of people will miss the moment, like by trying to like record and capture every moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like if you're trying to take too many pictures, or you're trying to take too much video, you don't get to be in the moment and build the memory and create really have that enjoyment level. It's like, oh, I'm too busy worried about like being able to capture this,
or do that again. Do it again. I didn't get it on camera. It's like
too late.
Yeah. And people act like they watch these things anyway. Like, it's like, when was the last time you watched a tape from 8 years ago?
I'm just still thinking, like, no, Jennifer, we're not gonna watch your 8-minute Snapchat story video of fireworks.
No. Or if you go to a concert and it's like you see it, It's true. It's so bad. When you see, like, when the lines on Snapchat become dots, that's it. You swipe right
immediately. Yeah.
It's horrible.
Oh, that was actually super accurate.
Or like the concept. A lot of filmmakers say this, and it, like, I didn't really understand it at the beginning, but now I do. Where it's all like, if we got to destroy a camera to get a shot, as long as we get the shot, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, these are tools, and it's like our phones, they're tools. Our laptops, they're tools. The computers, the machines, the technology that we use, they're all tools to achieve different things. And when we shift the mentality from this is a tool to this is a part of me,
this
subconsciously,
is my baby.
or this is my baby, like babying an item, you lose all the functionality, or the majority of the functionality of that thing.
Like they say, when you buy a new car, get your first scratch as soon as you can, so you can stop caring about it.
No, the answer is just don't buy a new car.
Well, not new, but like
you lose anyway.
New to you car, like a new to you car.
Yeah,
like whatever. You buy a car, and then you're just like, you baby it for like the first 3 weeks. You don't want to do anything except for like care for it. But once you get that first little nick, it's like, all right, I don't care anymore.
Full
Done.
send.
So get it to that first Nick as soon as possible.
Bring it right to McDonald's and just like throw a full Big Mac right into the back seat. Just let it ride. but it's true. Like you see people like with like their phone. Like okay, I don't put a case on my phone because I like the way that it looks. But there are people who like they take their very delicate care of every specific thing that they do with their phone, or like they won't, or like a drop of water will hit the phone and then they'll like wipe it off really quickly, and it's all like at this point you're now interacting with the phone as if it was like something more than it actually is.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's just a tool.
That's something too. Like I mean, talking about it, and it's really relevant in like Portuguese culture and stuff too. But like the point of having like white couches, if you can't like sit on them, or you have to cover them with plastic, or do anything. Like if I have to worry about what I'm going to do to go and relax, like if I have to stress out to relax, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna send it.
The Vosges with the two living rooms. You gotta have 2 living rooms, bros.
Yeah, it's just a part of it. You know, they that's what they discussed on the boat over.
Yeah, they said that was part of the agreement of coming to America. They were like, you gotta buy 2 living room sets. I was like, okay, that's fine. It's sad, but like. You get stuck in this level of opulence and this level of like, oh, I gotta buy this thing, but I can't really afford it because my friends bought it. We talked about that with like the Keeping Up with the Joneses. It's like, oh, my neighbor got a new Porsche, so I gotta get the new one too, and I gotta like, and then
did we talk about that on this show?
I
know
so.
on our last show we talked about it a fair amount.
We talked about that a lot in the last show, but the same idea of like, sometimes you just can't afford it. And if you can't afford it, don't buy it, because if you buy something you can't afford, you're gonna baby it, and then you're never gonna use it. It's like if I bought a $4,700 pair of shoes, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. But like, if I did,
what if I just barely could?
yeah, it'd be absurd.
Or even so, like I mean, I went to Walmart the other day with Jose, and I bought like a soup pot for like $20. But it was a nice thick soup pot. Like it was perfect, exactly what you needed. It's gonna last for a long time. It's like, what's the difference between that $20 soup pot and then going to like an opulent like sur la table?
Yeah,
or whatever, like whatever that.
Amazingly, I knew what store he was talking about. But go ahead.
But you go to like a fancy store and you buy like a $200 soup pot, and it's like it's made out of the same metal, has different handles. Like
it was hand painted.
Like it will do the same job for $20 and last just as long.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a level you have to bump up to be able to like play, but then it's like to go over and above, like and that far over and above. It's So
I
don't know what I'm talking about, guys. I need to go home.
Well, no, the thing with that is, I completely agree. And if you're buying the pot because someone that close to you bought the pot, and now you want to have it too to compete, that's not exactly the right thing.
Far out, man.
But if you truly appreciate the art that goes into it, and like you truly just like to collect these things, and you don't mind spending the extra money because you don't spend the extra money on the shoes, or you don't buy the TVs, but you like spending, like everyone has. I spend money on music gear, and a lot of people.
Well, but so it's if the items that you're purchasing are limiting your productivity or you're limiting your happiness.
Yes.
It's not okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if you're buying it because like your best friend bought it, and now it's like slow down, you don't need it.
I mean, unless you really like it, and it would actually bring you to that level too.
Yeah.
Well, but it's like the example that I always use is like you're a contractor, okay? You're shoveling bricks all day long, and then you go buy like a Miata. As much as I like the Miatas, it's not going to help you move sheets of drywall.
Yeah, right.
It's like it's
Put
not
a tow hitch on it.
Yeah.
Have a little mini trailer in the
mini
back.
trailer.
That was the goal for the Fiata.
Yeah, absolutely. Tow it up. But nonetheless, it's like, are your
17 out the
tools?
door.
Are you 19 out the
19
door?
out the door.
If your tools are limiting the things that you can do, then you get better tools. You don't I don't need an industrial table saw. Because I don't do anything that requires an industrial table saw. If I want to go buy one, like go right ahead, go buy one. Again, then don't complain about not having money to do other things because you bought this industrial table saw. I hope that the metaphor is carrying, but
Meh.
yeah, don't buy industrial table saws.
I mean, if you truly enjoy it, and if it's something you like to collect, and it is. If you can afford it and you enjoy it, if it brings you happiness, that is okay. It's okay to spend the exuberant. If you like to collect shoes and you want to spend $4,700 on shoes because you really appreciate it and it'll make you happy, there are people out there who really enjoy that. And if that's who you are, then do that.
Can it make you money?
The shoes?
I mean, if you broker them out and use them to make money, I don't know. I honestly don't see anything in even like much value in even collecting like that, unless like it can be sold and actually turn over money for you to
hold
make
value,
money
yeah,
and hold value. I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's this might be controversial, but I think it's worthless to actually have like sentiment and like that thing that binds you to like material things, because it makes me feel good because I have to buy all these different things. It's like you just wasted money to feel good for like a second, but you're never satisfied.
So I'll play devil's advocate here.
Well, I mean, I was already on that side.
Well, no, but like no. double devil's advocate. No, but like we go to nicer restaurants and we eat nicer food every once in a while. We also go to McDonald's and do stuff like that. But still, like
more often than not.
Like we go to like the Capitol Grill.
I think it's a little different.
I don't think it is.
I think so.
I think that a lot of people would say that's a crazy waste of money. Like, why are you going to go spend $100 on a meal?
Applebee's.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you going to go spend $100 on a meal per person instead of going to like Applebee's and spend $20? It's like it's the same concept.
Well, it's
money's there to spend.
It's the experience.
Well, but that's what people are doing with shoes, where it's like, okay, I like the experience of buying the shoes and I like the experience of seeing them on the shelf.
But that's it. You just have the experience of just looking at them on a shelf.
And you just had the experience of just eating the food, and then you go home.
It brought nourishment to my body.
Well, people like shoes. What I think it's I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't have a shoe collection. I have like 2 pairs of shoes. But the concept is like, I think everybody spends, like Eric was saying, everybody spends money on something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think we can really. I have a problem is when somebody goes and's all like, in the same sentence, they say, I spent $1,000 on a pair of shoes and I have no money to do anything that I want to do.
And then like 4 sentences later, like, I haven't paid my rent yet.
Yeah, and it's all like, yo, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, there's that. That was good.
It is what it is. It's
I like the double devil's advocate. That was the first time we did that.
Spend money on whatever you want to spend money on. Just don't.
Money's there to
complain about
spend. And money is there to spend. And but like, you don't be irresponsible about it. If you haven't paid your rent, pay your rent.
We have priorities.
Yeah,
I guess I have a problem with finding happiness in material possessions.
Fair enough. And that's absolutely.
I do. Unless you're like at the level where that money and that material possession can bring you happiness, and it doesn't affect you. Oh, I want to go buy that $1 million house somewhere because $1 million is chump change. It's like, okay. It's the same as just buying a house just to be able to flourish and live, but you can buy it on a nicer scale. But it's like I need to go and buy these things to feel good. That's a deep-seated, like, that's an issue.
Well, yeah, that's a psychological thing. That's not like I guess
that's
where
that's where I was kind of attacking shoes from. It's like, if I have to go out and just have this collection of like shoes in my bedroom, like on the wall that don't profit me at all, other than my happiness, like my brain releases dopamine because I look at these things on a shelf.
Yeah,
it's like.
I think all of us have that, like, in some way or another. I think all of us have something that we say, like,
without
this
a
is the thing
without
that
a level
I do.
of practicality.
Yes, I think that happiness. This is going to be a super controversial topic, concept. Happiness itself is the practical application. So if you achieve happiness via non-practical means, it's still practical because the happiness is practical. Do you know what I mean?
I completely understand what you just said. I don't know if I agree though.
Because like it's like again, you can go extreme and be like, okay, cocaine makes me happy, so I'm gonna go do cocaine. It's like, no, that's not really the way that we're talking.
Listen, there are physical benefits.
It's like, but like if you like to buy shoes and you have like a shopping problem, quote unquote shopping problem, but you aren't asking me for money and you're living a normal life and you're going to Macy's every week to go buy shoes. Listen, go buy as many shoes as you want. It doesn't affect my life if you go buy shoes.
It keeps the economy going.
Yeah. It's like, I understand what you're saying. Like, don't derive happiness from material objects, but I think we all do. That's why we live in the way that we live, or that's why we do the things that we do.
Or maybe I'm just like I'm gonna trigger everybody who's like a collector around here. I don't really see much of a point of like collecting.
Well, most people collect for value. I don't know any collectors that don't collect for value. So if they people,
I got a few.
Well, fair enough. But
Really? Like,
you just turn into like trash collectors. It's
then you become like a hoarder. But then
that's a whole other thing. But like, I know people who collect shoes and they like put it in like glass cases and they keep it like as mint as possible, and in their they believe that they could sell it in the future at some point when they need to, and it's gonna have some sort of value to it.
Just like Beanie Babies. Remember Beanie Babies?
Exactly.
Look at that. Look, yeah, look what happened with them.
Yeah, well, it's the risk you take. It's like even baseball cards and stuff like that.
I'd rather either go to the casino and put it on black or just play in the stock market.
Some people like to play it really safe and just collect stuff over like 17 years.
Or you could just put it in the bank at 1%. Just
Yeah,
let it
right?
ride. I mean, there's always some inherent risk.
Yeah.
It's like
Rip Beanie Babies.
rip the banks. 2008, here we come, boys.
Jeez.
What do you mean my money is not there?
He was there 2 seconds ago. No, but
And it's gone.
It's gone.
the stock market in a nutshell.
We're just gonna put this into your savings account and it's gone.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh man.
I don't know. I mean, for me, we got 2 minutes left. So like
Say,
final
what,
statements.
What was this episode?
We were just talking. Not
we agreed
everything
that we were
has
gonna
to
talk.
have yeah.
We went into this completely like we're just gonna talk. We got a couple points in there.
I think it was very productive. I think that we realized that Tyler really dislikes shoes.
Shoes.
Shoes. There you go. Tyler's gonna have a strict 2 shoe per person limit in his house.
No, listen.
So,
I think I think it's just obscure and outrageous. And I mean, I don't want to pick on anybody who does like collect shoes and alienate our audience, but like, I just see it pointless, like to be like a shoe collector, especially like to walk around in your house, just like only in the house with shoes. Like, shoes are meant to go outside and walk so that they protect your feet.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
You could also then
Use
go
it.
and say like, oh, the people who buy the FFX level Ferraris that Ferrari has at their track and can only use them on their track. It's kind of absurd as well.
Yeah, but if you actually just go and use it on their track, it's not really that absurd because you get to use it.
But you get to use your shoes too if you feel like it.
You can walk around your house.
There's some guys who have Ferraris. I mean, I just feel like this conversation is just like your stuff is bad, but the way that I do, like your drugs are bad drugs, but my drugs are okay. Like it's like, oh, okay, like thanks.
Listen,
drugs is
don't attack my level of ignorance right now.
No,
okay?
I'm not saying you're ignorant. I'm just like,
I'm being very intolerant.
yeah, it's like your habits horrible. Mine
Great.
perfectly fine.
That's fine. Don't smoke crack for, but opulent amounts of cocaine. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's wrong. Don't do drugs.
Please
Don't do drugs, boys.
And if you do drugs, do not put
Do
our
them in your
name
own
in there.
house.
Right, do the expensive ones.
Jeez.
This unstructured episode of the Life Podcast brought to you by whoever sponsored this episode. Bye.
I gotta go. Bye. All right. I guess I don't need this thing. Thanks for listening to the Life Podcast. Like, share, subscribe, rate, all that good stuff. Come follow us on Patreon. We'd really appreciate the support. You know the coffee over here. Don't pay for itself. And there's the ducks.